And today we're having a talk together with Zishan. Let's see if we can add him here.
Hey.
Hey, let's see here.
I was just testing if we're getting echo as well.
Yeah, that's usually the problem with having two things at the same time. Let me see.
Just testing. So what I'm thinking of doing is connect to Instagram with the headphones and then
There.
mute my laptop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna test if that works.
How is it working right now for you?
Yeah. So I'm good, but I can hear myself from your side.
Okay, so let me see
I think you just need to mute your computer.
if I shut it down. How is it working now?
Yeah.
Better?
This is good.
Yeah. I love these whole technical things that you have to do. It's not like you can try it before, really. It's just,
Yeah, exactly. No, but this is good. So I can hear you here now, which is on Instagram, obviously, and then we are here as well. So
Yeah, that's great. Hi, Sandra. Nice to have you here. So you guys, for those who didn't hear the beginning, I'm here to inspire you and motivate you. And the reason why I have Zishan today as my guest is not only because he's such an inspiring person and he can help so many people, but he's kind of my mentor in a way. So I'm very happy to have you here, Zishan.
thank you very much. I don't know if it's my internet. It looks like you've frozen on both screens. So, oh, you're back. Thank you very much for having me, Liana. Thank you. So just to let people know that I might be looking here and there. So this is Instagram, obviously. Hey, thank you very much. And then I've got here Facebook and YouTube. Hi, everybody, as well. So thank you for having me. I'm a business and mindset coach, and my handle for social media is I am Zishan Official. So if you search me by that, you will find me. But thank you for having me here.
Thank you. So Zishan, please tell us how everything started. I mean, how come you started helping people with their business, or to start their business?
So it's come from a passion of mine of helping people already since the very beginning that I had, and so I would say. I mean, I've enjoyed all the jobs I did. So that was one of the best thing about myself, that I designed my own life the way I wanted. And I enjoyed all the roles I did, whether that was just serving customers, whether that was climbing the ladder for the corporate world that I'm in. So I've enjoyed all those roles, and I was still in the current role that was in up to last year. I was enjoying that as well, but it wasn't just fulfilling, So I wasn't, I'll say, content to myself in that manner. And everybody knows, whatever country you're in, the corporate world for anywhere you are is brutal. You get it's a dog eat dog world out there, especially in the corporate environment anyway. But I survived, but so I have a very calming and I'll say helpful nature. So I'll be the first one who will step up, explain things, or ask the question, or help you with that if you need support. So I'll be the first one to give you that. So which kind of was sometimes against me in that world. But because I'm an action taker, I was always able to see beyond what is just in front of me, but work with here and now as well in front of me, and then progress. And that's what, when this current climate happened, pandemic in 20, being 2020, the whole one. So I was doing certain things already for myself, which was out of my, regular day job, right? So I was doing certain things already because I'm a believer of many streams of income, just not one. Because if you just have one stream of income, and as pandemic has just shown us, if that now goes closed, you've got nothing. So I've had to
Right.
do things, but they weren't that strong enough. But they were just sustaining here and there. Just keeping me busy because I like to keep staying busy as well. Um, but yeah, so it came from there. So pandemic was like a blessing for me. I was able to now spend more time on myself, spend more time with my family, and as the months went on, I developed that. Hang on a minute, if I just spend more time of what I am doing, it will be, I can 10x this what I'm already doing. And it was just a case of now taking that bridge,
Step.
crossing that
Yeah.
bridge over, and doing it. So I've been doing it. I left my job in July. I sacked my boss myself. I'm like, okay, you're not going to see me tomorrow. And since that time, I've never looked back, pretty much. So, and I want to help others do the same. So I'm not saying quit your job now, but we can help. If you're thinking of that, you know, there is always a plan. So I am more of a person that plans things and projects things for how it should turn out to be. And if you discipline is the key that I love following. So with me, everything is very disciplined and very neutral as well. So I'm a very neutral person and very disciplined person, and everything has a negative and a positive sides. So hence, I'm always neutral because I will weigh both sides of whatever I'm looking at,
Right.
and I will take a neutral decision going forward with that.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I find it's so funny just that you mentioned 2020, because the last lives that I have had, we have talked about 2020 and how it has affected us. And I find it so amazing that, even if it's a pandemic and it's been terrible and everything for so many people that have, gone through a lot of stuff, that there are still so many people that actually feel that 2020 was a blessing. The fact that you kind of realized, okay, what's important for me, what's my life meant to be, instead
Mm.
of that thing that you know that is just rolling, doing the same thing day in and day out. So I love that you actually mentioned that as well, that uh, if it hadn't been a pandemic, would you still be working for someone else, or would you be doing what you're doing today?
So yeah, so I guess I would be still working for somebody else, right? And this is where I am helping others to understand that part. So I help people now who are looking to become bosses or become entrepreneurs, who currently have jobs. So I have been in that bracket because I've always been an entrepreneurial, but because of society, how it teaches you that you need a job, you need to do certain things, earn a good income and be on this ladder and do that, do this. So because I was surrounded by that, I thought that was it, right? But I was doing all these other things on the side, which kept me happy about it for me.
Right.
But I guess that's what I'm saying. So if the pandemic wouldn't have happened, I would be still working because that was the surrounding I had, and that would have been the people who were influencing me in that particular moment. Because I would have just seen, okay, I need to just carry on progressing, pay my bills, enjoy the
Yeah.
weekends, go on holidays for 2 weeks, and all that. So now, with the current moment, if I plan it correctly, which I am, I'm already looking at being somewhere for 6 months. So if everything goes according to my plan that I have for myself and how I'm leading it, next year I'll be away for 6 months. Obviously, I won't be at this particular place, but I'll be
Right.
still working, but I'll be
Yeah.
traveling.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think so many people would love to do that. I mean, not only because of the pandemic, but because I think so many people have realized that life is so precious and the time. And, I think that, and I believe that you might feel the same way, that when you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work. Whether it is helping people or making jewelry or I don't know, whatever. And I think that as soon as you're doing something that you love, it's not work anymore. It's not the same pressure as having a boss and having, you have to do this, and that, because you're actually the one deciding for yourself. So that's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly, and you know, and this is where I help everybody to from get rid of that employee mindset and come into the entrepreneurial mindset, because a lot of people still start. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to start some sort of business. They they will dabble into something that can take them away from where they are now. But what happens is that the mindset has to change with it, because you are now completely doing something else which you haven't done before, and therefore you need to become a bit more stronger, because now you have to wear so many hats, right? Before, you were going into work, right, and everything was done for you. You were given a task, that was your task, that's what they
Right.
employed you for, right? So you were finishing that task, you would do that task, and then, right, okay, you'll come home, and then you wait for your paycheck and so forth, right? Whereas you become an entrepreneur, now you need to wear so many hats. You need to look at your own marketing, you need to look at your own habits, you need to look at your own starting time, finishing time, you need to look at your own breaks and everything. You need to also look at yourself, what's important, what's not important. So there's lots of things that come in between. So there is a saying between within the industry where the entrepreneurs are, that lots of businesses, they usually fail within the first 2 years, and the reason is because they are unable to sustain it that high, because they're not seeing the goals they wanted to achieve that quick,
Right.
only because the mindset is not there. They're still in the employee mindset, like everything should be there. Oh, that looks very hard, so I mean, therefore I cannot do it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to do this and I don't know how to achieve this, therefore I cannot do it.
Right.
Or their goals are in the wrong places, because a lot of people just go into business just to make money. Money is just a byproduct of whatever you want to do in life. And if you're just going in there, yeah, money is needed to live, right? To sustain the life that we have. That's understandable. So I'm not saying that money, oh yeah, we don't need money. We need money. We need to
Yeah.
pay the bills. We need to do all that. But money is the byproduct of whatever you're going to do in your life. So if you now are helping someone impactfully change their life, money will come from there. So because you've just helped someone, and that help is worth to that person, is pretty much unlimited, whatever they want to pay you, right? So you obviously will charge for those things. That will be your service. Or if you're selling a
Right.
product, is that a product which is gonna be in demand or not? Or it's not a product that you just like? Okay, so I'm looking at a remote here, because that's the remote here. So if somebody might go, oh yeah, I love these remote, it's very great, I want to sell some of these remotes, but is this remote going to help anybody? Is this in demand or not?
Right.
And that's where people struggle. So not enough research being done, not enough mind being prepared for, yeah, this is the impact is going to happen in the world once I start this, right? So I use the example of car quite often. The purpose of the car is to get you from point A to point B, right? Not to go out there and get gas or petrol or fuel. Okay, but we have to put the fuel in, right? So the
Right.
purpose of the business is not to create money, but we have to pour money in there. But it's to create the impact that you want to create out there in the world. Every business
Right.
out there is creating an impact first before it makes the money out of it. Any business you look at it, it's creating an impact, is fulfilling a need out there first, and then you are able to generate the reverse energy, which is money now for you.
Yeah. That's a great example. I have never thought it that way.
That's I love because my mind works in a very simple format. So I love to whatever you throw at me, I'll decipher it into the slowest and lamest and very format
Simplified.
as in so anybody can understand it. Yeah, make it very simple. Yeah, because I go
Yeah.
by. I read this somewhere, and that has stuck by me. And they said if you are not able to explain something to a 5-year-old, right? Therefore, you're not able to do that yourself. Okay, so if
Right.
you if because a 5-year-old person is very curious, and to explain that to anything to that person is very hard, and
Right.
they ask you a lot of questions, right? But if you're able to satisfy that person with what you are trying to do, and they say, "Oh, okay, I understand. Let me help you," right? Because they're very helpful. That means you are able to now you understand that yourself as well. So if you don't understand
Right.
something, you are not going to be able to explain it to others. A
Yeah.
simple mind, which is a 5-year-old child, which is a simple mind, just wants to learn and understand things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But Zishan, I mean, how this whole mindset, because that you mentioned that you have to change your mindset. Is that something that you work with every day, or is it something? Have you gotten a coach to change your mindset, or is it something that has always been there to be able to help you?
Mm, so it's yes and a no at the same time. So the mindset I had is built over time. So it's
Right.
not something I just develop straight away. I'm a very inquisitive person. I like to know new things. I love to go out there and support, and therefore I learn every time. So I'm a very, I'll say, observant person. I observe things a lot,
Yeah.
and if anything is happening around me, I will just say, "Oh, what does that mean?" So I always just go, "Oh, what does that mean?" If anybody just taps on my shoulder as well, I'm like, "Ah, okay." Even though they were just calling me, but why you had to, but just my brain will be thinking, why did they have to tap? Where did they come from now to tap me
Right.
on the shoulder, right? So what happened there? So my brain thinks that way. But I'm not saying now you have to be thinking that way, because everybody works in different mindsets, right? Some are naturally able to adapt quicker. Some needs some need a lot more support in terms of accountability wise, right? So hold them
Right.
accountable, have a regular one-to-ones every week, so that you know that what you need to be doing catching up. So I suppose I was holding myself accountable, right? So I go by this. I live by this quote a lot. You're not lying to anybody else out there. You're lying to yourself if you said that you're going, that this is what you're going to achieve, and you don't achieve it later, right? Or you
Mhm.
said, okay, I'm going to go running tomorrow, but then you wake up and you're like, I don't feel running today. I'll do it later, right?
Right.
So so with that's why my decisions are always black and white, yes or no. Okay, there's no I will and I might. Okay, it's
Right.
like I will do it or I won't do it. So as simple as, oh, I want to go for a run or a walk. I love walking, so running is like so up in the air. So if somebody says, oh, come running with me, I'll be like, no, I don't want to run straight away, right? Oh, I won't say, okay, where you running? What's happening? So there's no thing. So that's the stronger mindset that I have already built it, because I'm not gonna lie to myself,
Right.
particularly because everything I'm doing is for myself first, and then if I am able to help myself, I'm able to help others with that, because I have to be as an example of the cup. So my cup has to be full first, so that I can pour everybody else what they need.
Right. Exactly. That's amazing. Um, so yeah, and like you said, I think everyone is in so different stages where it comes to mindset. And I know myself also having a business, that having someone that reminds you all the time that it's gonna work and it's going well, and having that support, it's so important to keep going, because like you mentioned, that not all companies survive passing the year. So one thing is being by yourself, because like you said, you don't have that constant someone saying that, well done, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, or whatever. And that you have so many things that you have to to know. So it's great to have that support, and someone that is there for you. I don't know how I could have managed if I didn't have that, and especially the mindset to just keep talking to yourself. Basically, it's not always that easy to tell yourself, like, yeah, I'm doing this is going perfectly, when you feel that, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, it's amazing, that that part of your business is that helping people, to be there for them, in moments where it could be, I mean, both up and downs. It's because I know, for me at least, it has been such a, up and downs with my feelings. I don't know how it has been for you. Have you always felt that, yeah, this is where I'm going and everything is going great, or have you had your up and downs as well?
Oh no, there's been lots of ups and downs, and a lot more downs than ups. Anyway, but how as I said, I always look at it as as black and white, or negative positive. So it's to keep things very simple. Um, so I try to do that. The moments you are down, the only thing you can tell yourself is, okay, the only way now is up, right? So when you are right at the, so look at the roller coaster effect every time. So like you are going down and then you're going to go up. So that's where you are in that journey of the when you are becoming an entrepreneur. The only way, the other ways I try to overcome sometimes these things are um, having targets that I give it to myself, and I tally that by saying how much I have achieved. Right, I'm not saying how far I have need to go now, that how far away I am from that goal, but I look at it how far I have come, or how much I have done,
Ah,
because it's progress over perfection thing. So you don't want to be hitting the 100% goal. If you hit it, that's amazing, great, but if that, you have to give yourself a goal that it has to be unattainable, because a lot of people give themselves goals which is for today, tomorrow, or things like that. So if you know that those things are easy for you and it's attainable, now you need to give yourself a goal which is a little bit higher than that. So you need to overachieve yourself. And that's where when the down moments are happening, you need to, instead of seeing, oh, why this is not happening, you need to straight away see, oh, how far I have come, right?
right.
Before where I was. And this is where the mindset tricks come in. You have to, a lot of people like writing down, so journaling. I used to do a lot of writing, but I've now moved on to voice notes. So I've got my iPhone with full of voice notes for every folder. So I can go back and listen to myself as well on that particular day, what I say. So I've got a diary for last year, which was completed. So if I am a certain day when I am not feeling the things are going that my way, or it's supposed to be something else, I can look at that diary and see what I was doing actually that time last year. Okay, and because it's there,
Right.
it's most likely going to be something good or bad, whichever it is. But I will always emphasize on the good side first, because that's how far you are. Because yesterday was yesterday, and you are in today, right?
Yeah.
If yesterday was so bad, you would have not come into today, right?
Right.
It would have just stopped. Your life would have just stopped there. Your life hasn't stopped. Therefore, you are here, which is already a success. You're on the next day. Therefore, that means you've been given another chance to now improve on what you were thinking that you wanted to do yesterday but didn't achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
I see
that's
someone's comments on
Insta.
Instagram here. Goals are targets, not promises. Exactly. Yes, those are your targets, right? So you have your crossbow and you're hitting that. But if you don't, or if you're near enough, at least you're going to say, well, I achieved it, I didn't miss it. Or if you miss
Right.
it, you're like, okay, I've got another one that I can try with. If not, go
Yeah.
get the ones that you've just used, grab them, and then try again.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I think that, people give up sometimes too early. Um, I know I was about to give up way too early when I started my business. um, because sometimes, when something is not as you expect it to be, and you feel that, you weren't good enough, and then you're like, but okay, why should I even continue? What's the idea? And to have someone or yourself to like back it up and like, no, just because it went wrong one time, it doesn't mean that it's not worth it. I mean, how many times didn't it take until, dynamite was made, or the light bulb? There are so many examples that it took so many times and tried so many times to be able to actually succeed the final product. Uh, or whatever it's gonna be. But just having that mindset of not giving up too early, and having someone there as well, because I really am for having someone beside you, whether it is your partner or a coach or whatever it is, to have that person that you can rely on when your head is not talking good sense into you. Right.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. 100% in terms of you always need a guide, a mentor, a coach. So I always say, surround yourselves with the people who are doing something that you would love to do already. So I would say I was fortunate enough growing up. My friends were always older than me, so they will be at least 3 to 4 years older than me, than myself. So I was learning from whatever, because they were on a different level, right? Not a baby like me then. So growing up with them, I was already ahead compared to my peers. If I was to go back to my classroom, for example, so I was
Right.
already ahead in terms of playground. I would understand what was happening beforehand. So, and that's the mindset I then brought to myself wherever I went. So I related to anybody who was doing more than what I was doing. So I would always spend more time with the people who were doing more than what I was doing. And then I will spend some time with my own peers who were doing exactly as what I was doing, and then some time with anybody who was lower than me in terms of behind me. So
Right.
I'm all about this journey. So because everything you're doing is a journey. So on this journey, there are some people ahead of you, some people behind you, and some people with you at the same time.
Right.
So you need to spend equal amount of time, if not a little bit more, at the front of the people that keep looking at what they are doing, because those are the people who have achieved it. Therefore, they are ahead of you. I'm not saying they are the successful ones, but they are the ones who are ahead of you, because
Right.
successful ones are way ahead of you. That sometimes it's very difficult to reach to them, right? uh, if that is your inspiration. But and all those people are around you. So when I work with people, I do this. So most of my clients is we will work with your mindset first to understand where you are, okay, and then we will see your how is your network. So a lot of people throw this now everywhere, saying your network is your net worth, which is,
Right.
yes, correct. But what do they mean? Because a lot of people then take the wrong meaning out of it. Oh yeah, my network is all this money now. Well, yes and no. It's not money. It's net worth, meaning what are you able to leverage? What skills do your network have that they can teach you?
Right.
What skills are you able to learn from them, right? So if you know someone who is already an entrepreneur but for something else, you can spend some time and ask questions with them, right? A lot of people don't talk these things with others as well. So I get them to open up and start talking with each other within their network first, which will be friends and family, because that's where
Right.
you need the biggest support first. And usually, what happens is that's where you get the support at the end, because a lot of people you don't, they be like, oh, I'm doing a business, and then nobody will like, oh, okay, and this is it, and then you're asking your friends and you're asking, yeah, oh, okay, go and like my post, go and do this, go do that, That should, that happens. But so we get them to understand that first, what's happening, and transit trans transition over to become an entrepreneurial, to understand the your network, what your network can do for you. So Elon Musk, for example, he's determined since day one to do all these things that he does. He has the same 24 hours as everybody else, right? But how is he successful? If you ever watch his documentary, which I have, because he's one of my inspirations, and he has started from nothing. Coming from South Africa, he was doing waitering and all that stuff. He was a computer programmer. He designed a program and all that, but he worked on it and then he moved on. But he surrounded himself as well with people who were able to now link him to where he was trying to go. So a lot of people then struggle with those things as well when they're in business, right? So, oh yeah, I'm
Right.
I'm a business person now. Oh, let's do this, and then they sit down and they think, yep, everything should be good. Everything should work. But no, that's not going to happen that way, because you're not an employee anymore. You're an entrepreneur. That was an employee who just used to come up to a office and just do, because
Right.
everything else was happening in the back end, right? So there was somebody else employed by the establishment that you worked for, do everything else, whereas come and do your task. Now is your role to understand all of this, right? You don't need a business degree to understand any of that.
No.
All you do need is to understand business, or understand your own goal. What your goal is, that what do you want to achieve this year and next year and in 5 years. So you chunk it down and then you break it down. So if you have a goal for this year, you break that goal down to even smaller goal,
Right.
into monthly, then quarterly, then half a year. So you can then see yourself how you're progressing in that chart. So it's all about keeping in notes on what you do in terms of yourself. So you have to, and this is where I said I'm very disciplined with that, right? So everything I do, I have some places I will always see how I'm doing in terms of what I did yesterday, in terms of progress. So for me, it's all about progress instead of achieving the goal first. If you are progressing, you are achieving, or you are
Right.
near to the goal already anyway.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of people who give up are the ones who are then employed by the ones who don't give up.
Right. Right. But how do you keep track of everything? Do you have a book that it's divided like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and then all the goals beneath, or how do you do it?
Yeah, no. So it's I'm more progressed onto digital formats now. So
Right.
I have an I have an Excel sheet, right? So this is for everybody who don't like Excel sheet. So don't complicate the Excel sheet. But because on Excel sheet you are able to have tabs on the bottom,
Right.
so you
Right.
can have tab and you can put down, say, 1 year, you know, year one, year two, year three, year four, year five. You can have those tabs. Um, and that comes from, if you have, because this comes from being financially literate as well. So if you are financially literate, that means you are able to track your finances much better. You will be doing that already, in terms of, okay, if you are tracking your finances in terms of, okay, how much I need to spend this whole year, my goal is to just spend that much this year, nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be tracking that. So if you're tracking people, let's say if you want to track and live on a budget, in terms of, okay, this works much better for entrepreneurs, because obviously we know that the funds are always limited, right? And sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. You're never getting that 100% of your funds coming to you until you
Right.
hit that point that is coming. So, and that's where the tracking comes from. Okay, you're going to be tracking your money, what is needed to do what time, and the same method then applies for your life goals as well. What things needs to be done at what time, and it's going to be all there in terms of breaking it down. So that's just me geeking out. So I know a lot. It's difficult for a lot of people to do those things, but voice notes usually help. You've got yourself voice notes that, okay, this is my plan that I'm going to do in 5 years time. I see myself there. Okay, then I re-record again what I will do to get there in 5 years time. okay, what my first year would look like. So that's a simple voice note because it's easier. So you can record yourself on your phone. A voice note, I usually say record a video because that's more daring. So you're recording yourself talking to it, right? The reason is because if you save that on your phone, you can go back to listen to yourself. And now there is something magical when that you are looking at yourself talking back to you. Now you're watching because it's yourself. The voice, you can still kind of, you can dismiss it sometimes because is you can't see it. But when you are
Right.
looking at yourself, telling you what you had planned for this time of the year and what you're supposed to be doing, you will 100%, you'll be like, oh yeah. And if you just live with the motto of, right, I'm not going to lie to myself, it's me, because it doesn't matter to anybody out there in the world whether you succeed or not succeed, right?
Right.
It's just matters, it's for you yourself. What do you think? Are you gonna do this or you're not gonna do this? It's for yourself at the end of the day. Yeah, it affects the people around you, but at the end it is your decision which is now leading these things, which is planning those journeys out.
Right. Yeah. That's great. I'm gonna try that because I'm a that kind of person that loves writing. I'm a very old school that way. I have like so many books. um, but yeah, that whole video thing, I'm gonna try that and see how that works out.
Yeah, no, definitely try. Well, you carry on writing, but what I would suggest is, it might take a lot of memory out of your phone, but if you have backup if you are able to back up your phone, external hard drive or something like that, just back it up on there. Or you can have it uploaded to YouTube, but it's unlisted, so only you are able to
Right.
see it, so
Yeah.
it's off your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then that can be your own secret YouTube where you can just go on and then watch, right? Oh, this day I said that to myself. Even so, let's say because you said you like writing, so you've written it down. Now just look at your phone as we are looking at now here, and just hit record and say everything that you've just written down, and then stop, right? And then have a YouTube account just for that, and then upload everything on there, and then keep it obviously that is nobody is able to see it, and then you just go up there and then you can view that yourself. That's
Yeah.
one way of tracking it, because I can guarantee you it's magical by just looking at yourself, telling the things that you meant to be doing or happened this time last year, for example, or this day a week ago.
Right.
It's different than reading it and or listening to it as well. I mean, I still listen, but I've started doing the videos, and it's different platform now for me. So I'm like, yeah, videos are the way to go for me.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna try that. Because one thing that I love when writing down is that going back, when the new year has started, and going back and see what I have written for what I wanted for the year before, and to see what I have actually achieved, and whatever it was. And it's a great feeling to see that oh wow, because sometimes when you're like so into whatever you're doing, you kind of forget all the things that actually happened to you. And when you can go back and see like, oh, that was actually one of my goals, because usually it's nothing that you actually remember. It's just that you read it down, but then going back and actually seeing it, it really does make a difference. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about celebrating your wins, no matter how small or how big they are. It's always about that. So as humans, what happens is, it's no fault of our own. The mind is programmed that way to protect you, and what it does to protect you is it brings out anything which causes pain to you. And that's why we always remember the failures in life every time rather than the wins, unless the win was like massive win that
Right.
it was so huge that you had to remember it. But the failures would always be there every 2 seconds, especially at the time when you're like, you'd be just watching a movie, for example, or having a dinner with your family, and then suddenly a thought will come up which will remind you of certain failure that would have just happened 2 days ago or something, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
and that's just your brain trying to protect you, saying, please don't do that again, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how it's planned, it is done. But it's no fault of its own. That's how the human species are designed. Is designed to, oh yeah, to protect yourself, and live. You know, it's worked to a degree, when we were living as tribes back in the time, and as hunting and gatherers. We needed that mindset that time,
Right.
but now we don't need that mindset anymore. You know, we need to now, when that happens, you need to straight away look at, oh, but that also happened that day, which was an achievement, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
this didn't happen. This didn't work out the way it's supposed to, maybe. But what can I now do tomorrow, which is better? Because at the end of the day, your brain actually doesn't know what the future holds, because it cannot see that. It can only
Right.
see the past, because that's what's stored in there, right? So it's only making those decisions through the files it has in his brain, in terms of, right, it looks at it and it goes, oh yeah, this looks similar to this one. Here we go. The scenario I think is that, right?
Right.
And that's what it is. And your brain focuses a lot more onto what are you thinking of every time. So if you're thinking of, I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail, what will happen is, because it's just hearing the word fail, it doesn't know what
Right.
else you're saying. It doesn't understand I don't want to. It just sees the word fail, and the emotion that is generating from that word fail, and it's
Right.
gonna then pretty much look into the archives of your brain, past traumas, or any time when the fail word, was hurtful, and it's going to bring out to you and give you that emotion every time, and say, oh yeah, don't do it, you
Yeah.
remember this, don't do it. Yeah. And that's what
Yeah.
happens is, and we
Yeah.
have to, it doesn't happen instantly. In terms of this mindset, it's a lot of practice, you miss sometimes. I used to do a lot of meditations, beginning. I do less now, but there was times, I used to, my meditations were always, in terms of shutting down. So once in a week I would shut down, and that shutting down was pretty much me in a dark room, right? And everything is silent. So and that will happen as soon as the daylight goes. So I'll just go into the room. I've told everybody, okay, please do not disturb. I'm going upstairs. Do not disturb, please, until if somebody's coming to sleep. So I'll go there. I'll sit down in the dark room now, and just look at how the days have been going. So what I'm telling my brain is to look for all the successes. This was good today. That was good today. That was great yesterday. That didn't work out, but what happened? Why didn't it work out? Oh, okay, I see. I'll be just playing that. But then I'm very visual, so my brain works with a very visual. So it's like it plays a lot of movies in my brain, so I can see those things. So I usually recommend to other people, in terms of, do how it goes in your brain. So communicate with your brain the way it communicates back to you, right? So I do with pictures. So that's how I'm doing. So I sit down in a dark room that there's no distractions. So I'm not,
Right.
because I get amused very easily, right? So if somebody wants to amuse me, it's very easy. Just do something, and I'll be like, oh wow, I get amused very easily. So, and distracted very easily as well. Hence, therefore, but then that's why I sit in the dark room and I just talk to my brain in terms of, this happened, this happened, this happened. I used to do that at least twice a week or once a week, depending on how my schedule was. And after that, once my mind has rerun that already with me, I'll turn on my music, depending on whatever music you love. You play that. So I'm a heavy metal fan, so there used to be heavy metal guitars blasting away, but it will be on a volume there that I can handle, and then I'll just lie down and go to sleep. You know.
Oh wow, to heavy metal.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so it depends on what music you like, right? So I can still go to sleep in it's the sound of guitars. It's just bliss to me. So
Right.
yeah, so I mean, now obviously I do different sort of meditations. It's not that anymore, but I am thinking of going back to it, because I do now miss it. But because that was the one which was working for me. Now I'm not saying that will be the one glove fit all. Everybody is different. So I always work with that person one-to-one to understand what's working, what's not working. We will have to obviously see, what works, and then we will change every time. You try it out and we change it. And this is why I always say to everybody, live life by your own design. And
Yeah.
what do designers do before you see the final product? They've been designing it in the back for, like, I don't know how many months or years, right, before you see the final product. So a simple thing as an iron, because I use that, or microwave, as a very simple thing, but that's the final product. You're looking at it, but only who knows how long it took them to design that model first, right?
Right.
And perfect it before you saw it. So people to get discouraged by when they are trying to do something and it's not working out. All I say it every time is, that's great that it's not working out. That means you're going to improve on what were you trying to do. Now you're going to look for, how can I actually do it better, and carry on redesigning it. So I always say, okay, go back to the drawing board, sit down and look at it. You need to always look at it, because a lot of people don't look at what they're doing. They are just doing it. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
They don't look at what they're doing. So if you're just doing it and not looking at it, is not gonna fix itself, because you're gonna carry on doing those things. People do what they do until they don't. That's how I say every time as well. In terms of, you need to stop and redesign what you're doing to get a different result. And every time you're going to redesign it, every time there'll be some improvement every time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I say to everybody, live your life by your own design. It's terms of improve what you're doing. So improve what you did yesterday. Improve every time. If you're improving everything what you did yesterday, every next day would be much better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love that about the whole, how you talk to your mind. And it's so funny because actually, I think it was today I was actually listening about your mind doesn't really know what's true or false. So it's so important that, I think many people, or I know I have done that myself, that I speak badly about myself to myself. I'm thinking about it and how bad that is, because your mind or your brain actually starts believing whatever shit you're telling yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and how bad it can be for you. So instead of, telling yourself all this crap that it's not true, it's just something that you feel at the moment, to actually just change it to the opposite. And even if it feels that it's not true, your mind won't understand that either way. So how important it is to actually just talk to yourself in the right way, to, for your mind to suck that information that, you're succeeding, even if you feel that you're failing, and all that stuff. So I love that. She actually mentioned an example about eating a lime. So if you visualize that you're eating a lime, how your mouth starts making a lot of saliva, uh, and the lime is not even there. So it's so easy to really have that little example to understand how much power we actually have over our head, our brain. I think it's something that it should be brought up much more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even how, no matter how complex the mind is, right, but it has a very simple role to play with you. And if just people understand that, you will literally be able to do anything, just by telling your mind what you want to do, by not saying that I want XYZ. You don't want to
Right.
see, because it doesn't understand any of that. It doesn't understand what you are saying in terms of, but it understands affirmations in terms of this word, that word, because it's connected to your body with your feeling, with your
Right.
emotions. So it reacts to that, right? It doesn't understand any words that you're telling it, because it doesn't make sense to it anyway, right? We are only able to communicate that way because we taught the brain say these things when we are thinking of that word, right? And what that word is again an emotion, of us trying to communicate, and then that's
Right.
what it just processes it and say, okay, you are trying to say that should sound like this, and hence we make that sound. But what it is in internally, the affirmations as well. So I'm not a huge fan of affirmations in terms of, oh yeah, you need to read it out loud, but I do tell people to do that because everybody is different, right? So you have to try that if it works for you. But for me, my affirmations ones are always quiet because I am
Right.
talking to my brain internally. Okay, so it will be all. So if you see me, because I grew up introvert, right? So and then whilst I was growing up introvert, I started to have friends who were older than me. So I became an introvert, but on the fence, who it was now extrovert, depending on who's around.
Right.
So and I was in bands, and we toured the world and all that stuff. But as soon as you will see if the person you will see on the stage would be a different person once he is off the stage, and you be like, is that Zishan who was up there? He's just sitting down quietly in the corner now, or just drinking his drink, and what? And he's just walking around simply like, oh, he's so calm. What? But I will go on because I'm a heavy metal fan, and I'll play guitars and everything. So I'll be on the stage, and you'll see a different person straight away. Why? Because I believe that's how I was. I'll be like, oh yes, I am the rock star, right? That's what I told my brain. As soon as I pick up a guitar and I've stepped on that stage, I am that rock star that I look at, right? So, and this is what I say to myself now as well. So my brain is sort of, okay, so I am, right, Richard Branson or Elon Musk, two of my favorite and inspirational people that I follow. But
Right.
they got the same things, and how you see them progressing, how they have all these separate streams of income is and to sustain themselves. But the both of them, they work with the same sort of mindset, is to keep progressing, and keep going. And the way only you can do this is by telling yourself all the good things in terms of what you want to do, by not saying I am this and I want this, and I can do that, I will do that. It works for some people, it doesn't work for me, but it works. The way I work is, because I'm a visual person, everything is I'm already seeing it happen, and because I'm
Yeah.
seeing it happen, my movie is going to end that way already. So
Right.
because I already know the movie is going to end that way already, my mind is taking me on that journey already. Okay, already. So, and that's how I do everything myself, and I try to coach that as well to all my clients. But obviously, we have to first work with how your mind works, and then adapt that methods of work to work on that. Because it's not easy. Obviously, everybody has, as I keep saying, different sort of mindset. We have to then obviously we need to move you from your mind, that which was created by the society, your peers, and everything that has been given to you. Uh, 80% or sometimes even 99% of it is not even yours. Only that 1% is the reason somebody is listening to this podcast now, is that 1% is trying to do something, right? But then it's been
Right.
suppressed by that 99%. And that's what we have to work for. So it's not easy, but a lot of people will start doing it, and then they will do it for 2 months, 6 months, and they were like, oh, it's not working. So like, you are trying to work on a mind, depending on your age, been built for that long, many years, right? It's not
Yeah.
going to be easy now. Okay, so we need to now look at and work at the places that we are able to fix, and then build that mindset to become stronger in terms of, okay, become an action taker person, right? There is an action taker in everybody. We might do it different ways, but we are all taking actions, whether we are taking actions for success or whether that is taking actions to do something. We are all doing something, and we are all taking actions, but it's just in different ways, right? We are
Yeah.
all moving forward every day, and every decision everybody's taking is leading them to an outcome, whether that happens tomorrow or in 5 years. But it's all what you do today that counts what's going to happen to you tomorrow or 5 years. And that's what I
Mm.
work with. I say, if you become aware of what action you're going to take today is going to happen in 5 years, you know, then you will take all the actions that you need to take, so that in 5 years time, right?
Right.
Because I use the example of everybody when they're booking holidays. I don't know about you, but everybody, when they're booking holidays, right? Let's say holidays for 2 weeks in the summer, let's say, right? The summer holidays, people are, let's say if this was no pandemic or nothing like that, everything was normal, people would be already planning from January now, right?
Right.
Summer holidays not until like whatever, June, July, or August,
Six
whenever that
months.
time is. You're already planning that holidays now. Oh, where do we book? Where do we want to go? Okay, let's start browsing. Okay, oh, can you check the ticket prices? Okay, we're gonna look at the ticket prices. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's that much. Okay. This resort looks nice. That looks nice. Okay, this is here. You're already doing that for something which is 6 months away,
Right.
right? And that's only for 2 weeks. Okay, you're telling me that you are not able to do that with your life for 1 year, so for something that you can have in 5 years or 2 years,
Right.
depending on whatever the goal is, right? So it does. Then the question comes to is, what's important to you? What's your perspective? And what things are you able to give up, right? So the whole life of an entrepreneur is, what are you ready to give up, right? It's not about what you are you ready to gain these things. It's about what are you able to give. You're ready to give up, because you will have to give up a lot of things to move
Yeah.
forward, right? Because you have a lot
Yeah.
of stuff with you that time which you don't need anymore. Are you ready to give that up, right? Once you accept that I'm ready to give up these things that I don't need anymore, right? Just so that I can have them again in 2 years' time, or I might not even need those things anymore in 2 years' time. I'll have a better life because I don't need these things now.
Right.
People, that person will get it. I mean, I say to everybody, if you look at the rich and the if you look at the rich and the super rich, right? If you just look at the way, simple thing, I always say it, the way they dress, okay? I'm not even looking at their cars, their houses, or anything like that. When you look at the way they dress, it's very simplistic, right? Unless they are going into these parties and everything, they have to obviously dress up. But if you see them just coming out of the house and going to the shops, or coming out of the house and walking in the park or wherever, right? You will see them in a very simplistic t-shirts and plain clothes or whatever, very simple, right? And then you will see somebody who's trying to be rich, who wants to show up as rich and everything, with all these Gucci's and I don't know, Hilfiger jacket and all that stuff on them, right? Their shoes is like worth I don't know, so much money sometimes. I mean, these trainers that the kids run after nowadays, so they'll be like, there's 2 grand for trainers, and then they're not able to buy food themselves for next month. And they're like, but you bought trainers for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you won't see the rich spend that money. The rich spend that money because that's extra money. That's when they get it, because all the actual money is invested into all these things, which is giving them the money first. And
Right.
this is something we work on after, once you're ready to understand these things. And then we move on to, okay, now what is your business idea? Now what is this that we can understand it? Once you master your mind, and then you look at the business, you will see totally different thing that what you saw in the beginning, when you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to do this business, and then I will have this freedom lifestyle, that everybody promotes. So, okay, I will have this laptop lifestyle. I can work from anywhere, run around with my laptop. But you're not understanding, well, what people don't see is what that person have given up to just
Right.
be a nomad with that laptop lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's and once you understand that is the hardship of giving things up first, you will gain everything.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. So there is so how, when you help people, is it like a session of 10 sessions, or is it different for everyone, or how
So
does it work?
it's different for everybody. Usually, I have a one-to-one call with them, so it's a discovery call where we niche down into understanding where you are, what you're trying to do, where you want to be, and we build up from there. And so after that discovery call, will depend on obviously what you are trying to do. I will then suggest a program that I have. Some are 12 months, some are shorter, depending on your journey where you are. So because it's not one glove that fits everybody, because if I was giving
Right.
you something that works for, let's say for example for you, Liana, some that might not work for somebody who's listening here now. So because they might be in a different space of that journey.
Yeah.
So the methods will be there, but it depends on where you are on your journey, and then we will build that from it. But at the end, we would need 100% commitment from the person as well, because at the end it's your journey. Nothing is happening to me whether you do that or not. Anything that we agree on, you decide to not do it tomorrow, and then you still come back to me and they say, well, it didn't work. I would know it didn't work because you didn't do it. you know
Right.
I would know that already. Or you just didn't do it the way we talked about it, or you didn't
Yeah.
do it properly. There will be something, and I will pick up on that straight away. And I'm quite straightforward. You're seeing this nice, frankly talking person here now, but when it comes to the session, I'm very strict, because obviously it's life-changing sessions, right? We need that
Yeah.
to work, right? So I'm very strict. I will say it straight away. It might upset some people, which it has a few times. It upsets them, but once they get over that feeling of being upset, then they will see that I am doing that for their benefit, right? So I'm one of those coaches. Let's say you got those those health trainers, who train you, and they shout at you like, yes, do one more, right? When you're doing the push-ups, yeah, 10 push-ups. So that's the sort of energy you will get when you are not doing it right. So in the beginning, everything is correct. Yes, you will see the person you're seeing now happy. Yes, everything is good. But when you're not doing it, because you're not doing it, you are lying to yourself, not to me, and you are coming and lying to me anyway on the phone or video call, whichever it is. But all I'm hearing is excuses of why it didn't happen.
Right. Right. You have a lovely comment here on Instagram. Zishan is an excellent coach and very strict.
Thank you.
And that's lovely. That's great. And I think it is important to be strict. I don't, I think that sometimes things go through in a whole other way, when you are strict. So I totally understand that. So, Sishan, do you have some kind of challenge going on or something soon so people can kind of see what you do?
Yes. So there is it's a good reminder. Thank you. There is a workshop going on where I will work on all these mindsets, and that's happening on 1st of February. Because I'm in UK, so it's 12:30 UK time, so it will happen at 12:30 UK time on 1st of Feb. If people are looking to join, there are still few seats available. Instagram, guys, the link's on my bio. Facebook, YouTube, you need to come to my Facebook page. The link is there as well. The handle is at I am Zishan Official. If you search for on any platform, unfortunately, I'm not on YouTube because it just didn't need to be. So, and
You have to choose wisely.
yeah, exactly. So so just head over there, and the links are there. Click on it. You still have a few days, and you still have a few more seats available still. It's a life-changing workshop. You've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain, right? That's all I say to everybody who comes onto that workshop. Is like, you've got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. How you do that is totally up to you. What you take away with it, that's up to you as well, right? If you come in there and you say, oh, I know all of this. If you know all of this, you wouldn't be there. Trust me,
Right.
you'll be somewhere else sipping.
Yeah, and I think that I know Tony Robbins has said that it doesn't matter if you go to the same workshop 10 times, 20 times, there will always be something new or something that will get you into your mind because we change. And even if it's the same workshop and they will say exactly the same things, we usually it's not really that way. Something new will come up, or something that actually it's in line with you at the moment, that that was something that you didn't really even care before. It will be something that really hit you next time. So I'm totally for workshops and going to as many as possible, or challenges, because I do believe that people will always get something out of them. So I will take the link and I will put it on on Facebook and YouTube, just so it's easier for you guys to check it out. What's a question here? Are you doing this challenge every month, Zishan?
Every month.
Yeah.
So actually, yes, this is something I've decided for 2021. So there will be 12 challenges. So it's
Oh
more,
wow.
it's a workshop, right? So it's more of a
Yeah.
workshop because I'm sharing the techniques. I'm passing the knowledge, right? The challenge is, are you going to be there and then turn up for 4 days? Because it's a 4-day challenge. So the challenge would be that's the main challenge, right? At the end, it's a workshop where you will gain a life skill should you choose to use it. The challenge is up to you, that you need to turn up 4 days. You need to play full out. You need to take part in it. That's the challenge, right? And that's what I now call a challenge. Are you up
Yeah.
for that challenge? Be turning up. It's quite funny that whoever's asked that question, thank you very much. It's just, I'll say it was just a few days ago that I decided to myself that I will run this challenge every month. So they will happen. So this is the first one now happening in Feb. So from Feb, every month there will be a challenge. So I'm going to run the challenge every 4 to 5 weeks later, depending
Right.
on the month. So it will be every 4 to 5 weeks. The reason I'm doing that is because my word for 2021 is to expand. And that's the word for 2021, right? It's time to expand, and whoever's ready to expand is welcome to be on that journey with me, right? And expand with me, pretty much. So we're not gonna we're no longer just gonna curl up, right? That was 2020. We've done that cocoon time. Now we need to turn into the big butterflies and start flying away, right? So we need to expand our wings, and that's why I'm gonna do that challenge every month, depending on the gaps. Obviously, going to give some gap in the middle, but it will be for every month now, and so people can tune into it. And again, as you said, because what you will hear now in this Feb challenge, a Feb workshop, will be a little bit different in the one for the March, and then for the May, and so forth. You
Right.
will pick up different things. Okay, I might change some things in between as well. So it's not they're never going to be the same challenges anyway, right? Even
No.
though the challenge is called "Live Life by Your Own Design," right? So the ethos will be still the same, but you'll be learning, and I will be there to help you design your life. If you are a brave designer, and you want your life to change, you'll be there, and
Yeah.
because you've got nothing to lose. No one's got anything to lose, but to gain, right?
Yeah. I love that. That's amazing, Zishan. I had no idea. That's great. I love
Thank you very much, and
it.
thank you for whoever's asked the question as well. Amazing.
Yeah. And she said she's looking forward to the challenge, so much to learn. I am born ready. And that's amazing.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to tell the people out here? Do you want to
Well,
leave them with any wisdom before the challenge? More
so
wisdom, because it has been a lot.
thank you very much. So the only thing, I would say at the end of this is, by the way, thank you for inviting me, and it's been a brilliant podcast as well. Is look for who you are able to get inspirations from, right? Because you are the average of the people you hang out with. So if you're hanging out with five entrepreneurs, you will be the sixth entrepreneur in that group. Then if you're hanging out with I'm going to use a skateboarder, so if you're hanging out with five skateboarders, you're going to be the sixth skateboarder soon, right? Because you're going to pick it up because you want to hang out with them. If you're now hanging out with people who are not doing anything, you will be the next person who's not doing anything, right?
Right.
So choose wisely what you want to do. Surround yourself with those people. Reach out to mentors who are already doing what you're doing, or helping with people who are there doing. Because mentors at the end are there for your success. At the end of the day, they have nothing else to do apart from be invested in your success at the end. So that's what I would say. Reach out to mentors, reach out to your friends and family, and look for, there are people within your network, which are your friends, families, who are already doing some things that you would love to do, right? Just connect, hang out, find out what's happening, and that's all it is. It's as simple as sending them a DM nowadays anyway. So send them a voice note, and see things happen.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing and so true, so true. And I don't know if many people, if they might feel that, I don't have people that are around me that are the people that I want to become in the coming years. And I think you should really use the internet. I mean, I'm so happy and thankful that we have it, especially with the pandemic, because if it wouldn't have been for it, I wouldn't have known Zishan. I don't know how many months we've known each other now, but it's been a while now. And so many other people that we have gone to know together, and have a community together. And, this community keeps building up, and we are very like-minded people. So, I'm so grateful for the community that we are in. And we are actually in two different communities together. But, find the people, find what's your interest, find what it is that, that you feel that time just stops. That's one thing that I really go for. If you are doing something and time just kind of disappears, that's something that you should be doing more of, because that's something that comes naturally and that's something that you love. So find groups on Facebook or wherever. You will find more people to be able to connect. And yeah, like Sishan said, it is important to connect with people that are like-minded, or that they are some steps ahead of you, to be able to go there. So totally. Yeah, so you guys, a challenge coming up, just a few days left. I will put the link. And yeah, Sishan, thank you so much for today. Like Zishan said, he has many things going on, so this is just like one little thing. So we actually will be having another live in February, but a whole lot of thing. So it will be exciting to hear about that as well. But Sijan, once again, thank you so much for being part of this and inspiring people and motivating and being there for others to achieve their dreams as well.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me. So thank you very much, everybody who joined on the Instagram and Facebook and YouTube as well. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you were able to gain some sort of something from it. And if you did, I say that to any lives that I do or anything I do with everybody, if you find something useful in this, please, 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 it's your duty now to share this with somebody else, because you don't know who woke up this morning praying or asking for something to happen so that they cannot be what they had yesterday, right? So you don't know that, by sharing this video by that person, you might have just changed that person's life. So please share this with whoever you think should be watching this. So I urge you to, that's your duty. If you've been watching this since beginning, or you've just tuned in and you found it very useful, it's now your duty to share that. You shouldn't keep that with yourself. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sishan. Take care.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye. There.